Welcome back. At the historic UBS Arena, our next guest made history as the first black woman to sing the Star-Spangled Banner at an NHL game, captivating audiences before the New York Islanders. Beyond this milestone, she's a regular fixture, lending her voice to every Islanders game, highlighting a significant shift in sports culture toward diversity and inclusion. Joining us now is Sholanty Taylor. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate being here.
Now, that's an amazing, just hearing this, I'm surprised that we're still having, first black anything, in regards to, anything that's happening in media. Can you just talk about how it feels to be a part of history in that way?
It feels surreal. It definitely is not lost upon me that this is still something that is really necessary. And so I'm just really appreciative to even be able to be honored to be in a position to just represent our country, represent our team in that way. As you said, like this is still a conversation that needs to be had regarding diversity in a lot of career spaces in the entertainment business. And so I'm happy to be amongst the first.
Now, what does your continued presence at New York Islanders games mean for diversity and inclusion in professional sports?
Well, being the first of anything, there's a tremendous amount of pressure that comes along with it. I'm the first generation of my family to be born in this country. I'm the first generation of my family to graduate from college, to get my master's, and let alone to be into the world of entertainment where there's not a lot of black filmmakers, black writers that are highlighted in today's media. And so it is not lost on me that I reflect a lot of people unsolicited by myself, but I feel the pressure of that, I feel the weight of that, and I appreciate being chosen and selected to be in the position to represent for us on that way.
And it's also even more of a milestone and just something that's pretty historic when we think about sports like hockey that are traditionally less diverse. Can you just talk a little bit about being a part of that changing landscape?
Well, it's definitely been eye-opening. I love it, to say the least. Like any sport is designed to create this dynamic of family and belonging and inclusion, which is exactly what we're seeking. And so I appreciated being able to be, to blaze the trail to do that. However, I'm learning so much, right? Like I'm not a hockey player, and for the first time this year, they opened up the Professional Women's Hockey League, and so I'm finding all of these new friends. The first black hockey player to play a professional sport in the women's league, she just started this last year. So we know that this is something it's happening, and we're embracing it, and I'm just happy to be a part of that journey.
Now, what impact do you hope your performances have on future generations of performers and also athletes?
Well, the athletes, I think their work ethic has definitely impacted me in an inspiring way. Because if you think about it, you're going out and you're performing. For myself, you're performing show after show. I come from the world of Broadway, so that's 8 shows a week that you're approaching a stage, the same story, but you're telling the story in a different way, and you're captivating an audience of maybe 2,000 people for 8 shows a week, whereas now you're in an arena and it's nearly 20,000. And so I recognize that the players, they have to wear that on their sleeves as well. And they're playing sometimes the same team 3 and 4 times per season. And so if, let's say, you've been down and out, you've been the underdog and you've been beaten 3 games in a row, that 4th game, you're bringing your all to it. And that has been inspiring for me to just say, you know what, I want to connect with these people. I'm blazing the trail and I'm inspiring these people by honoring our country and singing the Star-Spangled Banner. And so I want to bring a freshness and a newness every time. I wear a different outfit, girl. I'm like giving them looks, trying to do anything that I can to buy into that, the family aspect, and just create this atmosphere where other young girls can feel inspired by myself and seeing me do what they aspire to do within their own careers.
Well, let me just say, I'm also just inspired by you right now. You look amazing. You talked
you.
about the albums. I'm like, I definitely believe you. But also at the same time, you talked about having, a background in Broadway, which is just truly amazing. Can you talk a little bit about that experience and how it's gotten you where you are now?
I'd say like that. My background in Broadway is kind of like I've grown into it. I first discovered my talent, I would say, at the age of 6. My grandmother used to always like bring me to the Broadway shows. She would always have me watch these films of Little Miss Broadway, and like I was always inspired by show tunes. And believe it or not, there's a really similar in sync passover, I would say, in between Broadway and film, as I meant, Broadway and singing for the NHL. As I said before, you're doing 8 shows a week, you're inspiring thousands of people, and this is just much on a larger scale. I'm still in the world of Broadway, more so on the business end specifically. I do business and development and partnerships for Black Theater United, which is also speaking to creating more of that diversity, equity, and inclusion within the Broadway space. And so the partnerships of it all, it sort of is symbiotic in that way.
And I think you said something that's so important that I think people who kind of want to be on, on the lane of, being a talent or performer, that there's so many different options. Can you talk about the importance of knowing that there's not only one way to succeed if you are an entertainer or performer?
I believe in your gifts making room for you. If you are a talented chef, you better be cooking for Thanksgiving. Like, you need to create more opportunities. And so as a singer or as an entertainer, I'm constantly practicing. I'm listening and taking in new ideas, new music. I'm going to see new shows. I went to go see Outsiders last night. They're nominated for 12 Tonys, I believe, this season, which is amazing. So it's all about being prepared, right? And this goes back to the team, the work ethic. You have to be prepared. So if you know you're not making goals, or you know that you're keeping the puck in your zone too closely, you know that that's something that you need to work on. And so as a singer, if I know that I have 8 shows to do, chances are I'm not going to be partying every night in loud music atmospheres and allowing myself to potentially blow out my voice,
Right.
So that's really important as well.
Well, I want to thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. Also, just congratulations on being a part of history. Of course, we're not always, we don't want to see the first Black to, I feel like where we are in today, we should be past that. But it's still so amazing to see people, kind of break those barriers. So thank you so much for joining us once again.
No problem at all. And thank you so much for having me.
For more information, you can visit their website at sholantytaylor.com. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Open right after this.